All right. So, good evening officially again.
Good
Thank you
evening,
for
sir.
joining. Um, I think the last class was our very first class, right? Was that our second meeting? First,
Second,
second meeting. All right. So,
yeah,
I could remember we started with the intermediate conditional functions in a cell, how we can use them to manage data, how we can use them to analyze data. In other words, how we can twist those conditional statistical functions in a cell to be able to draw actionable insights from a given data. And then I know that I started with the ones with single criteria, that is sum if, count if, average if, before we advance to the multiple criteria statistical functions. For tonight, I listed out the topic we are expected to cover under advanced Excel application in data analytics. So out of I think I listed at about 5 to 6 main topic that actually makes up the so-called advanced Excel you hear out there, particularly for data analysis. So tonight I'm going to look at the second category of those functions. We are looking at conditional formatting. Remember, it's part of the advanced Excel functions that I mentioned in that class. So we're going to look at conditional formatting. It's one of the advanced Excel feature that really helps us, or that is very much applicable in the field of data analysis, particularly with Excel. So we are going to start with the definition: conditional formatting. Conditional formatting. Conditional formatting. All right, conditional formatting. Now, I think there is one more thing I wanted to actually show us before we go into this second topic, though it's still part of what we have covered within the multiple criteria aspects of those same functions that we looked at in our last class. But I just feel that there's a technique that at times you can be asked to use a single cell like this to analyze multiple questions. If you look at what we did last time, I could just take us back to the dashboard. You listed out the whole of the unique item type, and then you summarize the total average against them. So which means that this is the total average for baby food. This is the total average for cereal. And then this is the total average for office supplies. Now, let's assume that you are not meant to list them out. So in other words, we want to create a particular cell that each time you or the organization wants to know the total revenue generated from any of these unique items. So once they type the name of that item, it will automatically output the total sum or count or average. So most organization uses these techniques, and that is why I feel I should quickly show you that before we go ahead with the conditional formatting. So the way I'm going to title it is how to use one cell for multiple analysis. I hope you can still hear me. How to use one cell for
Yes, sir.
multiple analysis. How to use one cell for multiple analysis. So we are going to develop a kind of automated system that allows the company or whoever you are creating this analysis system for in a way that once they impute the variable they want to either get the sum or count or average, then they will be able to get it without having to list them out like this. All right, so it is actually called cell referencing. Now, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to make this cell thicker a little so that we can differentiate it from other cells. So for example, let me just label here item type. Let's say item type. Now, in other words, once they impute item type here, then the result will display here. So I will not label here, let's say what, total sum, for example. So being an app, I need to make it readable and user-friendly by bolding it. And then I can also enhance it with cell background color. And then also change the color. And then I need to expand the color a little. And then let me take this a little. So now what we want to program is that we have already assigned label in order for them to know what they are to type here, and then what the answer will be will come up here. So how do we program that? Now, the first thing I'm going to do, this is where I am going to put my active cell. In other words, the formula that I want to write is to display its result here. So I'll type equals to, as usual. So we are asking the one of summation first. After that, you type the sum if. We are using the single criteria for this. Sum if, and then we will reference the range. So this is more or less of revision of part of what we did in our last class. So the range is the selection of the cells where you have the variable that will be used as a criteria for summing up the values here. So like I've outlined here, is going to be the selection of all the values under item type in my data set. So I have to switch back to my data set and make sure that I capture everything. Remember the way I told us that we should capture the cell in order to include future what entry. We should select the column by the letter. Okay, so now after this, then you put your comma. Now, the next thing is for us to define the criteria, because what we have just defined now is the criteria range, where the criteria value will be cut from. That is what we have done. Then the criteria is, we have to go back to our dashboard and pick that empty cell. You see the logic now? When we were working here, we listed them. But now we are assuming that We don't know what is going to come in here. So once an item type comes in here, you should call this function. That is what you are programming. So you are saying that the criteria for the summation is expected to come in to this cell. Then you put your comma, then you have to highlight the values that will be summarized. So you go back to the data set and capture all the what? The profits. So what you are actually analyzing is the total profit for each of those item type. So now, once you have done that, you press enter. So it will output 0 at the moment. Why? Because it's waiting for a value to come in here. So let's try it now. Let's say I call this value here, and I want you to watch the logic that I'm going to use to call that value in that cell. I don't want to type it because I know that the value has been typed somewhere, either within my data set or like within your dashboard. So I will just put equals to there and tap the value and then press enter. Did you see what happened? So instead of me typing it, so in other words, if you are asked in your office, you have already programmed an app. This is what it means. You have developed an app that can analyze each item type without you writing the function all over. So now currently, this is the total profit generated from baby food. Now, let's say I want to check also using this same cell to check for the total profit generated from cereal item. So I will also click there and then clear everything, then put the equals to, then tap what? The cereal and press enter. You can see how we are able to what? To use single cell to continue analyzing different what? Variable. Is that clear, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. So can I give you some time to try it or I should continue?
Just continue. So I will just continue. When you send this
The
the link to
video.
me,
All right.
yeah, I'll go. So we'll be able to
All right.
optimize time
Oh,
today.
all right. So I just hope that you do my assignments because I will
Yeah.
discipline you next time. In fact,
Okay.
what I'm going to do is that the criteria for abiding by your request is that if I send you that video, you do the assignment. I'll send a screenshot to me before the next class is scheduled. Do you agree with the
Okay.
terms and conditions?
No problem. I do.
All right. So now, so I just wanted us to understand that before we dive into uh tonight's topic, which I said conditional what? Formatting. So let's start by defining what is conditional formatting as regards to data analysis. Now, conditional formatting is a powerful feature in Excel. It's a powerful feature in Excel that allows you to highlight, that's the keyword, that allows you to highlight cells based on specific condition, based on specific condition or criteria. Now, let's break it down. Let's look at the meaning of formats in word processing or in data processing. The word formats does not mean deleting everything from a drive that, like we know, when somebody say format your hard drive, you know what it means is that you have to delete everything. But if you are handling data like this, and somebody say format this data, what he or she saying is that you should change the appearance of the data. You should either improve the appearance of the data or you change, at least let the appearance change from the current status. That is the meaning of formatting. Now, for example, now, if I want to highlight record from Australia, I'm trying to tell you how you can twist this to answer valid analysis questions. Because like I told you from day one, most of these functions, the general users of Excel also uses them. But we have a way of twisting them to make more sense to us. So for example, now, this is categorical data, and I'm very sure that there is somewhere else where Australia and Oceania what record must have been entered or repeated within this data. So let's assume that the company want to know how many, or they want you to create a system that once they look at their data, they can be able to uniquely identify what some of the variables. For example, now we want a show whereby I don't have to find it difficult to know record from Australia and what Oceania. So which means that what I can program a format. It could be all the record from Australia should be formatted with red background color and then white text color. So as soon as I see that appearance, I know that what this particular record is from Australia.
From Australia.
Now, that is one scenario. I can also program, let's assume that this is a salary payroll. This is a salary payroll, and I want a situation whereby I can uniquely identify certain employee from certain what location. So I can decide to give them what one unique what format, just like we have here now, total profit. The organization can say, okay, there is a way, or want to reward some of our best customers. So they can tell you as a data analyst or a data engineer that, you know what, please, is there any way we can identify a record where total profit is greater than 2 million or where total profit is greater than 900,000? So these are different ways you can what format. So now let's bring it together. Conditional formatting. Conditional formatting, which means that formatting where criteria is what required. I believe that is understood, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. So let's quickly look at some of the what are the benefits of.
Sir. Hello, sir.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Hello, sir.
I can
Just
hear
before
you.
you cook, can you just spare me 1 minute to pick something downstairs?
All right.
Can you
All
just
right.
spare me 1 minute to pick something downstairs?
All right.
Thank you, sir.
All right. So now let's quickly look at, I will just run through some of these benefits of conditional formatting before we go into the practical. So one of the benefits, or some of the benefits of conditional formatting, what does it really help us to achieve within our data? Number one, visualize data. Number one, visualize data. In other words, it highlights important picture. It highlights important trends, patterns, or anomalies in our data. That is one of the benefit of it, just like I've narrated before. The second benefit of conditional formatting is that it helps us to identify patterns. It helps us to identify patterns. What does that mean? That is, we can quickly identify cells that meet criteria or certain criteria. That is, we can quickly identify cells that meet certain criteria. So that is one of the benefits of conditional formatting. The third one is enhances readability. It enhances readability, which means that what? It makes your data more readable and visually appealing. It makes your data more readable and visually what? Appealing. So these are some of the key benefits of conditional format. Now, let's quickly see how we can apply it. we are going to draft out analysis tasks. I think that is the best way we can flow with this topic. So I want you to write down the question. What is exactly the analysis task that we can actually answer or provide solution for with this function? Now, this is still the Amazon data set, which is Amazon sales inventory. Now, supposing you are asked to highlight, so write it down, from the Amazon sales inventory, identify all the record from Asia. Identify all the record from Asia with red background color and white text color. Identify all the records or transactions from Asia with red background color and white text color. So let's assume as a data analyst, you are given this task. How do we go about it? Now, this kind of task will definitely requires you developing the formula yourself. We have some of the presets conditional rules. There are rules. This conditional function, we can also refer to them as rules, okay, that can be used to uniquely identify certain parts of your data. Now, since there are rules, there are preset rules. Preset rule means these rules have been pre-designed by Microsoft Excel with the assumption that they might align with the tasks you want to perform. But you see, if I go to, this is the step, you go to home. Once you have clicked on home, then you go to conditional formatting section. Remember, you have to locate what? Home tab, and then click on what? Conditional formatting. Now, once I click here, you see highlight cell rule. All these are already made what? Program rule by Excel. But that is not going to be my focus, because everybody can easily what? Exploit those rules once they meet your analysis what? Criteria. Where the issue is if you are asked to customize the rule yourself. For example, now, there is no rule that can actually answer that question that I just dictated now. Because that task has nothing to do with greater than, isn't it? It has nothing to do with what? Between. It's actually what? A customized what? Task. So in other words, we are going to create our rule to be able to answer that question. So how do we go about it? The first thing you need to do is to highlight the entire data set. So, and how do you highlight the entire data set? It's part of what, or the techniques I must have exposed you to. You select where you want your selection to start from, and then you hold down the control and the shift, and then first of all, highlight horizontally with the right arrow button, then hit the down arrow button to highlight what? Vertically. Now, which means that I have automatically what? Captured the entire what? Used area within the worksheet. Now, I will now go to the home tab and then click on conditional what? Formatting. Now, the moment you click on the conditional formatting, because we are not going with the presets, I want you to pay attention, because we are not going with the presets, I will go to what? New rule. Are you seeing it? So I'll select what? New rule. Now, the moment you click on new rule, you have this dialog box prompted. Now, what is a dialog box? A dialog box is an interface of computer or is an interface that is programmed to display multiple what functions. So it is now left for you to identify what exactly you need. Now, all these ones still fall within the already made rules. So I have to go to the last one that says what? Use a formula to do what? To determine which cell to format. So I'll click here. Now, the moment I selected this option, you can see that what? An empty cell or text box is provided. So this is a way of Excel telling you, oh, you don't want to go with any of my defined rule. Okay, now create your own. That is why you are provided what? A text box. Now, in this text box, you have to construct your formula based on the question. So you go back to the question. The question says that within the whole of this data set, we want to identify record from Asia with background color and what? White text color. So which means that I will start by entering what? Equals to, because it's a formula I want to construct. So once I have typed the equals to, then I will reference the range, and the entire range, I'm going to represent it with 1. Why? Because the entire data has been selected at first. So which means that I will just click on one of these. I will just click on any of these. It may not be the particular one you are using for the formatting. So let it just be the first one. So that range means that what? The criteria for the formatting is or can be located within that what? Column. That is what you are saying. So ordinarily, we are supposed to highlight everything. But because we have highlighted the entire data before picking this range, that is why a cell itself automatically know that, oh, you are referring to what? The whole of what? The cells under this column. So now there is what we call absolute argument and absolute argument and dynamic arguments. So I want you to understand this step: absolute argument and dynamic argument. Now, let's start by knowing what is an argument before we know which one is absolute and which one is dynamic. Now, you can see argument means what? The range of cells. Argument means the range of cells. Sir, if I ask you now, what is the range of cell that we have highlighted here? A what? A2. In other words, the A represents what? Column A, while the 2 represents what? Row 2. Now, the formatting we want in a situation whereby it does not limit it to only this particular row. So we want to allow the function to search across all the rows and be able to find any record where the name of the country or the region is equal to what? Asia. So we don't want to limit it here. Now, when you see an argument having $sign, it means that what? You have locked that particular word as is. So now I am going to remove dollar from the 2. And I'll tell you the reason. In other words, you have opened up the rows. You have automatically permitted the function to search across all the rows. But you have locked the function up under this column, that you shouldn't search for Asia outside this column. So you shouldn't come here and start searching for Asia. You can only search for Asia within this column, but you can search across all the rows. Did you get that? Please, if you can unmute and respond, let me know if you are following.
I'm following.
All
So
right.
you mean when we lock the column side, that is the A, it can't go You can't select any
It
data
cannot
outside the
search
A.
for that criteria for the formatting, which is Asia, outside that column A. That is what we are saying. In other words, you have fixed it. That is called absolute. Why the row? You have left it what? Dynamic. That's what it can change. That is the meaning of what? Absolute argument and dynamic what? Argument. I hope that point is.
Yeah.
The difference is that when your argument carry dollar sign, it means that what is fixed. When it does not carry dollar sign, it means that what is open. Now, this is just for you to say that the criteria for formatting is going to be located within this. So what is the criteria I said? You now say equals to. Then you now use string equals to Asia the way it is spelled in your data. Then you close it with the same word quotation. Now, that is what we are saying is that what if you can find Asia in this selected range, then what do you have here now? No format set.
No format.
So you now say, okay, format it. Remember the question. The question is that anywhere we have Asian record, the entire row should be formatted with what? Red.
Red.
So
and
now I will now
white.
go to fill to select red. That means I have already given the what? The background color. Then after that, I will now go back to font to choose what? Text color, which is what? White. So by the time I click OK, this place that was initially telling us that no format, now you now have what? A format. So which means that if this criteria is met, the whole of that row will automatically what? Display what? This appearance.
Red.
So now you click OK. Now, you see what happened now? It's good that we have it miscalculated like this so that we can correct it. Now, it depends on the Excel version you are using. That is when we normally have this kind of issue because it targeted what? Wrong cell, because the cell we wanted it to select is what? Asia, right?
Asia.
But instead, it's selecting another what? Cell. So that will take us to how do you manage your rule? It's a good challenge that will make us to learn something. How do we manage our rule? Which means that once a rule is defined, how can somebody modify it in a situation like this where it targeted what? Wrong value. Now, to manage your rule, you go back to the same what? Go back to home, select conditional formatting, then go to what? Manage what? Rules. So all the rules you have defined will automatically what? Be captured here. So what do we want to do? We want to reconstruct that function. We want to reconstruct that function since it's giving us wrong output. So I'll just check it and then click on edit rule. That will call back what? The function. Now, why are we getting this? Now, instead of selecting just one, now we are going to highlight everything where you have this kind of issue. Okay, so now what we are going to do is this. So I will remove this section and then click here and then hold down the control and the shift, then select everything like this. Then after this, now remember that we remove what? The dollar from the number section. So I'm still going to all the places where you have number, you remove dollar. Within this section, you remove dollar. And then I will apply. And then click on apply and click OK. So let's see what we have here. Okay, so what we are going to do now, let's first of all clear the rule. Let's clear the rule first. And let's take it again. Now, like I said, you select the entire data set. Right? Now, after that, select the entire data set. Now, go back to conditional formatting, new rule. Click here, equals to. Just make sure you are paying attention. Then I'll select from. This was set within this range to this range. Then remove this, remove the dollar sign from the number range, and then you can say equals to, and then your quotation, then spell it the way it is. And then this format, the format field, red background color. Go back to your font, select white, then we click apply. So we are still having, it's not selecting what we wanted. Okay, so let's debug it out. Sometime it can happen like this. Do you have your data with you? Might be from your application, but I just want to confirm it with another criteria. I want to choose country. So if it's give me the correct information while using another variable so that I will know where the error
The
is coming
problem
from.
likes.
Okay, so let me go back there and clear the rule. Right, so okay, so now the same thing, new rule, use equals to. Now I want to target to value. So let me target it with single range first. If it doesn't work, then I have to go and select everything equals to. Now I can reference it like this. It means that you are picking the criteria from the data set. Most time, if putting the criteria is not working, then you can call it from the data set. Remember that the one you are calling from the data set, there's no need of you removing the dollar sign, because this one, it is only when you are defining the range that you have to remove what? The
To
dollar
remove
sign from the
the
row. But
lock.
here
Yeah.
you are just saying this is the criteria. So let me just try this option first. So these are some challenges you can face. So you try different options until you see the one that is able to accept. So still have
Okay.
issue. What will happen is
So,
that just try it within your data set. Try it there. Let me see so that I will confirm
yeah.
where the error is. Just try it with your own data set there.
Okay. Can I use the data you share with me before?
Yes, yes, you can use it. You can. I just want to know if it will respond from your end based on your. Sometimes it might be the data formats. I just want to confirm.
So,
So what I'm going to do now, I'm waiting for you. Let me see if it does. I have to call another data. It's like I need to try it with another data. You have to be communicating so that it's like you did not select the entire data. It
Okay.
started from country.
Okay. I've done this before. I now saw the that is, okay. Let me start afresh. So I'm trying to highlight it. Check out too fast. So I'm going to conditional. I'm pick the rule. Then I say let you use my formula. And picking Europe. So now I remove the lock equal Europe. Is the formula okay?
Where is your formula? I can't see
At the top,
the
almost at the
the,
address.
the whole of your. I can't actually see the whole of your screen. I can't even see the screen where you are entering the formula.
Eh,
Yes.
eh, like this. What of now? Do you see it now?
Maybe I'm only seeing your Excel, but I can't see the particular. Not yet. I can't see the dialog box where
What
you.
of now? You can't see the formula
I can't
equal.
see it. The only thing I can see here is the data set itself.
Yeah, I'm surprised that you can't see it.
Maybe can you unshare and share it again?
They highlighted. Yeah, I'm trying to do. Hello, sir. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, but it's coming up. Just hold it. Yes, I can see it, but I can't see your conditional formatting dialog box. But can you see it
Yeah.
over there?
Yeah,
Is there anything covering it?
I do.
I can't see it here. That is
Let
the issue.
me start afresh. Nothing is on its own. This
But
thing.
I can't even find I can't even see your
Can you see?
screen. I can't.
Okay, let me start again.
I don't know.
What of now? Do you see in the bigger?
What I'm seeing is just your data.
Okay. Uh, I'm stopping again. I want to share it. If you can't see now, maybe I'll just start afresh.
Yes, but I need to.
But can you see an highlighted screen?
Yes, exactly. I can see it.
My there. Okay. So let me go. Can you see my choosing the rule?
Uh, Whether I can see what?
The dialog box
No, no, no.
for the rule.
No, I can't see it.
What is happening?
That is exactly what I'm looking for. Okay, now just on share. Let me see how we can help. Just on share. I believe something is wrong from your end there. Now, this is what I'm going to do. I'm suspecting the data formats because sometimes it happens like that. But that is the reason why I wanted you to try it from your end
Try
so
from
that
my
to
end.
confirm. Now, but let me see. Let me call another data set. Or what I did is that before calling another data set, what I did is to copy it from that particular sheet because that
Okay,
was
to
the
another
sheet
sheet.
where we did other analysis. You understand? So I needed to know
Yeah.
whether those other analyses are like conflicting with this particular process. So I started a copy to a different sheet. Now let's try it. So our question is all the cells where we have offline, we want them to be uniquely identified. So like we're doing, we highlight the entire data set and then the same thing that we did the other time. So after highlighting the entire data set, we go to Home tab, then select Conditional Formatting, then click on New Rule. Remember the same process. Then I'll click here and then capture the range where I have the criteria for the formatting. So I'll pick the first one and then remove the $sign and then say equals to, and then you put it in quotes because it's a string,
Mhm.
and then type offline, just the way it is in your data set. And then I'll close it. Then choose your formats. Let's say fill color red, and the font should be white. right? So I click OK. So you can see what happened here now. You can see what is happening. We specify what? Offline. And instead is giving us what? The opposite.
Online.
Good. So which means that the data set is not yet okay for
No,
this.
it's given the two. He highlighted the two, both
Okay, it's
off and
highlighted the
on.
two, right? Okay,
Mm.
so now I just want us to try all the possible because these are common challenges you can face depending on the data format you are given. Now, let's try it by highlighting the entire range because the one I did now is just using one range or one cell range to represent all. So I go back there again, then select new rule, and then click here, then equals to, then choose this as well. Choose this. Okay, let's do it this way. Let's do it this way. Now, what I did now is that I excluded what? The headers.
Okay.
I excluded the headers, and then let's go back again. So I pick this, then remove the dollar sign from this, and then equals to, we are going for offline. Offline, put it, choose your format. Fill, I'm choosing red, and then font color, I am choosing white. Apply. Did you get it now? You see the mistake we are making? We were
Okay, we see
including the header.
the header.
That
Okay,
header was giving its problem. So just take
okay.
note of it. The same thing that we have been doing. The only thing is that your selection should not include the headers. So now let me go back to the manage rule so that you can copy it the way we wrote it. So I'll come here, I don't do as if I want to edit it. So just copy the function. And then you can now try it. You can try it from your end and get back to me, or let me share you. I don't know. Just copy the formula, then do it, even if I'm not seeing, though you still have to share your screen, but just try it and see if you can get it. Have you taken the formula?
No, I've not, but I think I should remember the formula.
Okay, so just go ahead and do it. Don't forget, do not include the header selection. That was the issue. So you can share your screen now. Let me see if I should be able to see it now.
Can you see my screen? Hello, sir.
Yes, I've seen it. Only that I don't know why I cannot see the dialogue, but just continue, and then just tell me if you have been able to get the results.
uh,
Okay.
equal to
Okay.
D uh, dollar $D2
Okay.
equal quote and unquote offline.
Yes. The offline, you have to follow the case. So the
Then
first letter is capital letter. I hope you followed it like that.
okay. Okay. Then quote and unquote. Oh, okay, okay. It's done. I
Uh-huh.
don't know if you can see my screen.
Yes, I can see it now. I can see it now.
Can you see my?
Yes, yes, yes. Think.
Okay, because of the cap lock.
Yes, yes. All right. So now let's try it. Now you cannot share
but
your screen. You
but it didn't
can.
pick the first. It did not pick the first line for
Okay, for offline.
the first offline, but it picked every other offline except for the first one.
Okay, which one did you select when you were calling the range? Which one did you select the first one?
No, I just wrote it. Yeah, okay, okay,
No, no,
okay,
no,
okay,
no.
okay,
Where you were
okay,
to,
okay.
you did select the first offline, so it exempted it.
Yeah, yeah.
Next time you start from the top, the first one, when you were defining your range. That was what happened.
I think that's
Okay. Now you cannot share. You cannot
okay.
share. Let's continue.
Okay.
Just confirm if you can see my screen. Okay, so you can hear me, right? Hope you can hear me. Can you hear me, sir? You are muted.
I
Okay.
can hear you, sir.
All right. So now let's quickly proceed. Let's look at it from another angle. This time around, we are going to format with number criteria because the one we just did now is string criteria. The criteria we use in identifying all the offline transactions is text. Offline is text, it's not number. So let's assume, remember that we are doing this for a reason as data analysts. Our major reason could be, or the main question could be that, okay, after you have been able to identify all the, the offline entries, now the company may want to know, can we see only them? Can you tell us how many of them are in the data set? That might actually be the reason why you first of all identify them so that you can easily what filter them with what the background color red. So what I will do is I will just bring in my filter, which is part of the basic you should have known. So you go to data and then bring in your filter. Then this time around, because you have some cell formatted with color, you will see this feature. So once I filter by this color right now, these are the only record from offline. Then if I'm to give the statistics of how many of them, all you need to do is to select all the record there. Just select all the record and then you get the what? The total count here. There are what? 50. There are 50. I hope you understand that. So this may can be the reason why you have to first of all
Hello, sir.
what?
I can see your screen again.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can see your screen again. If not, share your screen.
I have. Maybe probably it's network. Let me reshare. Please confirm once it comes up. Can you see it now? I hope you are not still sharing. No, you have to stop your own sharing.
And that's what I'm looking. No, I'm not sure. Okay, I can see it now.
Okay. So what I did is that I filter out only the what? The formatted record. And after highlighting the entire value, I discovered that there are what? 50 what? Entry where offline.
Okay.
Did you understand it?
Yeah. So you
Oh,
filter with offline,
yes, with offline, exactly.
not with the
Now,
color. Okay.
no. You see what I did here? What I did here. Remember that we have already formatted all the offline with red background color. So
Yeah.
what I did is that, let me clear the
Yeah.
filter. So what I actually did is that I needed to see only the offline record. Since we have done that, so I went to filter, then I
Okay.
click on what filter,
Mhm.
and then I selected the
Mhm.
filter command, and then filter by what? Color. So with that, I was able to what? To
Okay.
display only the offline. And to do the counting, I highlighted all the values, and then I have 50 of them in the data set. So I hope that is clear.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I want to format again because a single data set can actually have multiple formatting. So the type of formatting we want to do now is using threshold or number. So the question is, we want to identify total profit where or total profit greater than, let's look at the values here, total profit greater than 700,000. Or do we have up to that? Yes, total profit what? Greater than 700,000. Now we want to uniquely identify them. Are you with me? So that once we see the
Yeah.
color, we know that, okay, these are the record where total profit is greater than 700,000. Now, and I still want the entire row to be formatted once that criteria is met. So remember the step again. Uh, we select the entire what? Record, excluding the header. Don't forget. Then after that, we go
Yeah.
back to the home tab and select the conditional formatting. We are still leveraging on new rule, and then I click on use a formula to determine which cell is to format, and then I'll define my rule. So my rule is when a value here under total profit is greater than 700,000. So I'll pick a range. So the range is this time around. This is the range. You can see that I picked the first one. It doesn't matter whether it meets the criteria. You just have to acknowledge that, okay, this is where I have the values that will be used to format. Then, as usual, you remove the dollar sign in order to leave the function, to leave all the rows open for the function to search through. Then you bring in your greater than, not equals to now. So we are using a different word operator. Greater than 700,000. 1, 2, 3. And then what format we want to give to them. So you make sure that this format, the color should be different from the first one so that you can differentiate them. Now, the color, I want the color to still be white. I want the color to still be white, or let me use another color that can come out with the background color. So once I click, you see that what? They are uniquely what? Identified. All the ones that are highlighted with this blue background, they are total profit greater than what? 700.
Yeah.
Where you have
700.
200 is not highlighted. So this one is very accurate. Now, the second part of the question is, now that you have been able to identify them, now, how many of them, or can we focus on only this particular, can we filter them out since my filter icon is still active? So I can use any one because the color cut across all the what? The column. And then I will filter by color. Then I'll choose what? This color. So these are total profit greater than what? 700,000. Now, if the company wants me to analyze how many of them, I will simply highlight all, and then I should be able to see the counting here. Hope that is clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, the next thing is let's see how we can actually format with dates, because sometimes this is very, very important. The company may want to know the transaction that happened in a particular date. So how can they achieve that? So the first thing I'm going to do, in order to avoid having too many distracting formats, I will clear everything. Remember, I said you go to manage rule, and then these are all the rules we have defined. So I will just click here and delete the rule. Click here, delete the rule, so that we can have a cleaner data to start with. So our analysis question now is, this is where we have the shipping or the ship date, or I can as well use, let me use the ship date or the order date. So let's say the company wants you to identify record based on a certain what? Order date. So
It's
let's pick a particular day. But before that, we need to change this date format. Otherwise, most time, Excel may not recognize this as the global recognized date format. And what is the global database recognized format? Is that you have YY, which means what? Year, and then what? DD, which means
the
day, and then MM. Or is it, yeah, I think it's YYMMDD, right?
okay.
It's YYMM, right? And then DD, that is the format. But is that the format this particular date is? The answer is no.
No.
So we have to, first of all, change the format. And how do we change the format? That is a command you access from your Windows. You can actually modify that within Excel here. So what I'm going to do is to go back to my Microsoft window. So
What
I'll
of the
just,
format, date format? Can't we use that one?
which one? This one?
Date format under numbers.
Okay, order number. Let's see, but I think we should do it from the roots, because if
Okay.
you do it here, it may not be acknowledged from the roots.
Okay.
But let me just see if we are able to get it here. This is what we are talking about, coming to this, right? So you can see
Yes,
that
sir.
this is not in that right order. So let's
Okay.
set it from the system setting, which means we are going to the control panel. So I will type control panel. We type control panel, and then from control panel, I should be able to modify this. So I'll go to clock. I'll just select number what? Format. So from number format, you can see that it's already set, only that it has not translated to it. But at least I'm sure that the date format is set to that standard from the window. But in case you come here and you miss something like this, you have to update it to what? To this very one. That is YYMM. So once you have ensured that, now let's go back to the data set and answer that question. And what is the question? So let's just focus on one of these dates. Let's say we want all the record that were tracked that particular day. That is 20 what? 2012. We want to convert it to the standard 2012. The one represents January, right?
Yeah.
2012. That is
No,
one
the one represent
day.
day.
Have you? Okay, which means that 2012 April, right? And then
Yes.
April 1st. So you have to write it. This is how I'm writing it. Look at this, 2012, then 4, because this is the format you follow when you are programming it. You don't follow this one. In as much you have set it at the background, you follow that format here. Now we want to format them with a particular appearance. So the same logic. So let's go there now. We just that this one we are introducing date format. We are introducing date function. So that is going to be the difference. So we select everything. Then click here, new rule, use the formula to determine which cells to format, then equals to, right? Equals to, are you with me? You call
Yes.
the range, the range of where you
The
have the
date.
criteria, which is order what? Date. So I will
Date.
just use only one of this, then also remove the dollar sign. Then I will now say equals to, we bring in the dates. Now remember I said here you are bringing date format. Date is a
Okay.
function. Date is a function. Then you now follow that method, which is what? 2012, comma, followed by 4, comma, followed by 1, then you close it. Then before you define your
The the month
format.
the month are we not using 0401 044 instead of 4
Uh,
alone since the format
okay,
is
okay. So let's say 04. Is it for the month only, right? Yeah.
and the
Now,
date at
okay. Now, normally, if it doesn't sit, you can come back, but let me just put it. Now, we choose format, and then we choose our appearance. Let's say our appearance is red, and then the font color will be, let's say this, and then we click also, we apply. So you can see that what it does not affect it. But before we conclude that it's because the date format is not aligning, we have to go back and check how we separated the
date.
the days, the date and the month and the year. So let's edit. So I use comma. You see that it has even removed the what is it called? The
What if we use the stroke
no.
instead of
Okay,
comma?
okay. So let's see. Yeah, but this should actually work maybe because the data set now will have stroke here. Let's see. See, this format is not does not accept it. Don't worry,
Okay.
we'll go and it's from the system since we changed it to we have already programmed it on the right format, but only
Mhm.
that even in the data set is faced to change to that format. So what you do is that let's try and type it again. Remember what we did now is 2000 and what? 12, just to find out what is the issue. And then followed by 4, followed by 1. Let's see. No. So until the data is in the proper format, we have issue with this particular one, but let me still see. It did not still, I thought I changed it now. Let me type it in. 2012 slash 04 slash 7. So you can try it there. I think the format is correct. It's from the date format. So just try it from your end there. Let's see. All of
Okay.
us go to the C panel and change if it's not on YYMMDD. Go there and change it and see.
Okay. Papa.
Are you sharing your screen? Please share your screen. Let me see what you are doing.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, it's still coming up. Can't see it here, but it's indicating that it's coming up. Okay, yes, I can see it now. I can see it. So you can clear all this format first so that we can focus on the one you are doing right now. Just go to that manage rule and clear the previous one.
Okay. Sorry. My this is hanging.
Hmm.
This
Your
will happen to
Excel.
me. Okay. But my date here is already my date is 10 month date year.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yes, I can hear you. Let me see it.
Hello.
Yes, I'm with you. You have to change it. What you will do now, that is what I'm trying to debug here. I believe that the particular date format used in computing this data is the issue we are having. And we are trying to reset it to the standard based on the format of the data is not reversing. So what you do now is this. Before you do that, just delete like
So I'm
five,
trying to say that
delete like five dates
my
from and manually type five different random dates and then use one of them so that it can flow with the format. That is after you have changed it from the C panel.
yeah.
That is what I'm trying to.
Uh, uh,
Hello?
is
Hello? You said? Hello? Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. How far has it work?
I don't know if you see what I'm doing, sir.
I
Yes, I
want
can hear you.
yes, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it.
That's what I'm trying now.
Okay, I'm seeing it. Hello, are you still here? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I'm working on the screen. I'm trying to change the date format. Hello, sir.
Yeah, I can hear
I'm
you.
trying to change the date format. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, now just kindly
You
unshare your
say the
screen.
argument is too
Yeah,
much.
just unshare your screen. Let me show you. Let me show you how I've been able to resolve it. So this is from the date
Can you
format.
hear me, sir?
Yeah, just unshare your screen. Let me
Okay,
just
I've
show you.
seen my error. Uh,
Has it worked?
Okay, I've unshare. No, I've
Now,
unshare my screen. It didn't work. You say my argument is
or
too much.
can you see my own? Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see it.
Now, see what I did. I have to delete just to know whether the problem is from my function or from the data set. You see,
Okay,
I have to manually type, I have to clear, I have to delete all the dates and
okay,
manually type again after I have changed it from the cPanel. So that is how it works. The
okay,
same thing. So the problem is from the date format. So the date format refused to switch to the correct setting.
okay,
So that is what
okay,
happened. So if I will just show you the function again. So let me just go to manage rule and edit. You can see it's the same thing that we typed before.
okay,
The
okay,
problem
okay,
was from
okay, okay.
mm,
The date for okay.
yes.
So
So
this date has to be in capital letter when writing it.
no. It does not really matter. It does not really
Okay,
matter. What matter is that the formats of that data, the dates in the data
mm,
sets, should be able to connect to the back end. That cPanel changes.
okay, okay.
All right. Hope that is clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I just want to take the final one, and then that will bring us to the end of it. Now, there is another way. Let me return everything because I actually deleted them the other time. Okay, so now let's assume that we want to use two criteria to format our data conditionally. You know, all the one we have been using since is one criteria. Supposing we are asked to format uh, all the order equals to H with red background and an item type or an sys channel offline. That is two criteria. The first criteria is you are formatting based on what H, order, priority. And then the second criteria is sys channel equals to offline. So how do you handle once is exceed one criteria? That is the one I want to do now. So as usual, you format, you highlight the entire record in the data set. Then we are going back to the conditional formatting, then select new rule. So from new rule, I am going for the last option. Then the first, now the only thing you are bringing here is once you want to apply for multiple condition, you bring it what? And. And is a function which is used when you want to format with multiple criteria. So once you have activated the and, you can now start defining the rules. So the first one is what? Where item here is equals to H. So I'll capture that range, and then I'll say what? Equals to H. So that is the first criteria for the formatting. So I will add a comma, then I will now call the second range, which is 6 channel, the first one, and also remove the $sign. And then where 6 channel is equals to also equals to offline. Offline. So if you want to go on to 3 criteria, you just put what? Comma, call the next range, the criteria, comma. When you are done selecting all the range and the criteria, then you can now close the bracket of the and that you open. I hope you understand that. Did you understand that?
Yes, I understand. I understand.
So now I will now go to format. Let's choose the format I want to give to them. Font, let's say this. So if I click OK, you can see that what the 2 criteria are met. How will I know? If you check under here, only H that are highlighted. If you check here, only what? Offline. So which means that what? You met the 2 criteria. Did you understand it? So if you want to go through the criteria, put comma and so on. Just make sure that you are enveloping all the range and the criteria in the AND function.
Okay.
So if I want to also view only this set of appearance, I will just come here also. From filter, rather, you activate our filters are already on. So I will just say filter by what? Column. So you can see that what? They are few.
Yeah.
All right. So before we end it, there is another one again. Let's ask because what we are selecting now is horizontal conditional formatting. What about if it has to do with only the values you have in a column? That is, in this column, let me clear everything so that you can understand what we are doing. So if I come back here and I select these 2 options, I delete them so that we can have the data back to the default appearance. So this time around, we are not interested in highlighting everything in a row once a criteria is met under column. We just want to limit it to only this column. In other words, we want to highlight only record here where total profit is greater than 900,000. The appearance will only affect this. So the same thing that we did, but the only difference is that when you were highlighting, when you're formatting horizontally, which is a row, you selected everything, right? But since you are formatting vertically, which is the column, you just have to select like this. That is the only difference. In other words, you want to limit the format to only what? That particular column. Then you go through the same step. Let's say new row, and then choose this, choose your format, choose the first range, remove the what? The $sign as well. Then you can now say, okay, greater than what? 900,000. And then you define your format, your field. Let me just put this and then click and then apply. You will see that what? It will highlight only values greater than what? That 900. Did you understand that?
Yeah.
So which means that we have learned both how to apply the conditional formatting horizontally, which is on the row, and also on the what? The column. So that is, yes, so that is where we draw the cutting. So like you promised, please make sure that you go through everything. So you have performed some, but the last class, make sure that you practice and get back to me. Hopefully we meet on the Wednesday if you are able to reply.
Can we do Thursday?
Thursday, what time? Evening? It's like Thursday.
Anytime, guys.
It's like Thursday. I'll check my schedule. If I'm free, I'll let you
Okay.
know.
Okay, sir.
All right. So,
Thank,
all right. Good night, sir.
thank you, sir. Good night.
Hmm.